Are there any foods that you should eat or avoid when taking arthritis medication?
I think you should answer that question, Martin.
Okay. Now, methotrexate and folate. I think that is something that quite often folate being prescribed as a supplement, because when you're taking methotrexate, our body will then start excreting a lot of folate as waste. Now, folate is also known as vitamin B9, and it has such an important role to play. For example, it helps to produce DNA and RNA. Now, in case you don't know what DNA and RNA are, they are the key genetic material that underpins the living creatures. And also, it does help to transform carbohydrate into energy and plays a key part in the protein metabolism. Now, the other medication related to methotrexate and also colchicine is grapefruit. Because grapefruit, it tend to, well, if you have them together, they tend to enhances the actual dosage of those medication and making them, quite dangerous, well, sending them to a quite dangerous level. And finally, penicillin and caffeine-containing beverages. Again, that will have the ability of sending caffeine to such a high dosage. In particular, for some of the younger people, if they have energy drinks, and then you're also taking penicillin, then they will be bouncing off the wall.
A bit hyperactive.
Yes, too hyperactive.
Are there any supplements that can help with arthritis, like glucosamine or chondroitin or turmeric?
Did you use the prescribed glucosamine to your patients?
I used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Now, one thing about these specialist dietary supplements is they have been found to be safe, and that is all the positive thing that I can say about them. There is a landmark study in 2018 looking at all these supplements to see whether they can be of use to people with osteoarthritis. And sadly, glucosamine, because of the results, it is really inconsistent. So, as you know, on the 2014 NICE guideline, big letters saying do not prescribe glucosamine and chondroitin to your patients. And all the others like turmeric, rosehip, even though in a short term they have elicited some positive outcome, but in a slightly longer term, all you can see is they all dropped off. And it is also important to understand that some of these trials, they are sponsored by the supplement company, so you ought to take them with a pinch of salt. But overall, like I said, they are safe. And if you want to try them, by all means, go and try them. But there are more evidence-based methods to manage your osteoarthritis than spending money on.
So a waste of money, if
Yes, I'm afraid.
What's the anti-inflammatory diet? Everyone's talking about it these days, and does it do anything for arthritis?
Such a popular term, isn't it? Now, first of all, I would like to say that there is no one specific diet for arthritis. What they mean by the anti-inflammatory diet is referring to the Mediterranean diet, which is something that we have talked about earlier. Now, yes, there are some evidence to point out that Mediterranean diet can be both preventative and also therapeutic for people living with arthritis. However, one thing that I would like to point out is rather than looking at arthritis as an endpoint, what is the most common symptoms of people living with arthritis? Persistent pain. Now, there is some evidence to look at by modifying or changing your dietary intake. It may help to modulate persistent pain. Again,
how interesting!
Absolutely
I didn't know
exciting piece of work. So what they actually done in that systemic review and meta-analysis, which is you're grouping in loads of different studies and then churn it through a mathematical model and then come out with a new set of conclusions. They have found that If you eat a rainbow in terms of your fruit and vegetables, as colorful as possible, all the antioxidants and the polyphenols, they have the ability to help to dampen down some of the inflammatory markers. And secondly, aim for the whole grain carbohydrates because they will provide you with fiber and also other vitamins and minerals that are needed to support the whole system.
What's that? What's a whole grain carbohydrate?
Whole grain carbohydrate means that it is not refined. Now, if you buy a loaf of bread, sometimes you can see that either wholemeal or white bread, and always go for the darker version of it. And especially if they've got seeds, even better.
So like wholemeal pasta and brown rice and things like that.
Because they will also provide a lot more fibers for your gut bacteria, to enjoy.
Really?
Now, the third element will be do not get dehydrated. Now, this is absolutely groundbreaking for me because if you are dehydrated, you do feel the sensitivity of pain even more. So keep yourself hydrated at all times, and always aim for the essential type fatty acids. So you're looking at the olive oil, your omega-3 fatty acids from fish, or if you're a vegetarian, go for like marine algae, and also the omega-6, which is coming from avocados and some of the plant source of essential fatty acids. So all in all, the essential type fatty acids are beneficial, but it doesn't mean that you should completely avoid saturated fat, because there are some saturated fat that can be helpful, but I wouldn't say that don't sort of like base your whole diet using the animal type or even some plant type fat like coconut.
More vegetables, less animals then?
Yeah, I think finally is try to limit some of the ultra-processed food. For example, the cake, the biscuits, those are the things that even though they are absolutely yummy in nature, in the long run, they are not doing your persistent pain any good. So I think, those bullet points could be extremely helpful. And in fact, it has been adapted by the International Association for the Study of Pain as one of the nutrition guidelines for persistent pain.
Mm-hmm.